Welcome to Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce Let's Talk Business podcast. Good morning, Miss Leandra. How are you today?
Good morning, Tabitha. I am absolutely great.
I know it's a Friday, so it's always good to get started, to get the weekend started with some great
Yes,
news, right?
yes, there is some great news.
So before we get started, we're going to go ahead and thank our sponsors. Southwest Airlines is a proud air travel sponsor of Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, and we would also like to thank Primacor Business Solutions. So you come and join us today again to tell us some great news. So I'm not going to spoil it. So you go ahead and tell everybody who is listening and watching.
Okay, I don't know how many words. Region 4 is now online.
Woot woot.
And I don't know if you know what Region 4 means, but Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce is a regional chamber. And it is a countywide regional chamber. So we serve chambers throughout the Southern District, not chambers, counties, throughout the Southern District of Texas. And we have an infrastructure of 18 counties. And what we've done is we started with putting each 3 counties into a region. And I'm sure those who have looked at our website and have talked to you or me or any one of our members do know now what Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce means. So, because usually people, when they hear the word tri, they think of 3,
Right.
which is the right thing for them to think of. So we have 3 counties in what we call a region. So we started out with Region 1, which was Harris, Montgomery, and Liberty counties. Then we moved into our next region,
Okay.
which is Region 2, which is Galveston, Brazoria, and Fort Bend County. And then we moved into Region 3,
All right now.
Beaumont, Chambers, Jefferson, and Orange. Everybody knows that Beaumont is in Jefferson County. And now we have moved in to Region 4. And I'm going to let the new vice president of Region 4 tell you who those counties are in Region 4. But I did want to give a shout out to a member and then a former board member by the name of Matilda Jackson, who was very instrumental in getting Region 4 online. There's a little process that we have to go through. We got to get the charter members. We have to have a presence in a region when we're opening it up. We can't just go in and say, yeah, we're here. Who wants to be a member? So we have to develop the membership relationship. And so it's called charter members. And so we do have 20 charter members, but you have to have 20 charter members in order to open up a region. And because the region has 3 counties, we allow that there will be charter members from each one of those counties.
This is awesome. Like, congratulations.
Well, thank you. We're excited.
4 out of 6. So, okay, we're getting there.
Yes.
So let me ask, because for my own personal knowledge, what is it that you have to do in order to become? What do you do in order to start opening up a region? What is a criteria that has to be met outside of the charter members?
Okay, good question. Because we are a county-wide chamber of commerce, our reach is for underserved businesses. We are a chamber.
Okay.
We are a bona fide chamber of commerce. We are a business league, and of course, our mission statement is that we acquire and disseminate valuable business information, resources, and tools for the member firms and in small businesses to achieve entrepreneurial parity. That means we have to level that playing field because you got to know how to do business in order to be in the game of business. And through that, we see that there's, economic prosperity through that, not only here in the U.S., but international. So getting back to answering your question, when we find that there is an area, we charted 18 counties in 2004.
Okay.
And this is how we determine what our infrastructure would look like, meaning that would be 6 regions.
Okay.
And we looked at the southern part of Texas, which basically is the southeast district of Texas, southern district, southeast area. And we looked at the number of businesses whose owners were what we call ethnic black.
Okay.
And it was very large. It was over 850,000
Oh wow.
that had been underserved. And when we say underserved,
Yes, please.
yeah, that's
Define that for the people who are listening.
underserved is lack of business information, lack of access.
Mhm.
Not resources were lacking, but lack of access to those resources and lack of access to the tools.
Okay.
And so, and also, of course, information. And so, what we are here to do is to provide access to information, resources, and tools. So, we have three objectives: it's business, education, and development.
Mhm.
And well, of course, I grouped them, but the first one is business development,
Mhm.
which takes in the education, training, and the technical assistance that a business needs to move forward and based on what's available to that business owner. And which is we talking about when we talk about business, we're talking about private markets, we're
Mhm.
talking about public markets.
Okay.
So what's available to the business owner who's just starting and those who wanting to expand. So we knew that that was information that was necessary. And then we talk about the leveling the playing field, that we got to be able to do business.
Right.
And we got to, I always say business is business 101. And so a lot of us did not have the exposure uh, in our, maybe in our families or in, because sometimes we're working
Yes.
and we hear certain things. We hear, okay, it's better to be your own boss. But
Nobody
what does
tells you
that
how to
mean?
do that. Nobody tells you how to do it. Nobody tells you where to go. Nobody tells you how to develop yourself or your business.
Yeah.
And so the chamber's actually been allowed to help those people who were not able to get that education from elsewhere.
That training, yes,
Right.
and that information.
How cool is that?
And then we look at economic development.
Yes.
That is one of our objectives because economic development means you are playing a role in the economic engine that drives this country.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? And then our third objective is advocacy.
Yes.
How do we determine what the pursuit of happiness is and how is it achieved for people in certain groups?
Yeah.
So, we're not a ethnic group as people might want to refer to that because I've heard that before.
Okay.
But we are dealing with culture.
Okay.
Okay. So when we say black, we're talking about our culture. And our culture has a history.
Mm-hmm.
And that history needs to be understood and developed. Because when you think about our history, and this is how I'm going to go with this.
All right, come on now.
Okay. We were capable.
We are capable.
When I say were, I'm going back 400 years.
Yes. Okay, 400 years. We were very capable
we
back
were
then.
very capable of creating playing a major role in the economic development of the United States of America.
Absolutely.
Period. And it wasn't that somebody says, oh, we're going to get these people and bring them over here. No, they paid attention to these people. And they knew these people had what it takes to be able to perform the necessary actions for this country to get the economics going.
Nice.
Okay?
I never thought about it that way.
Okay.
I really didn't think about that way.
Think about it.
I knew that the U.S. was built on our backs, right? On the slaves.
Well, let's just say
people.
slavery. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It was built on that, but I never thought about it in those terms.
Well, slavery was force.
Right.
Your children, my children used to say, we're being treated like slaves
No.
because they had to do certain things and they had no say in the matter.
Right.
And they knew if they didn't do it, there was going to be some consequences,
Right.
right? So they felt like slaves. So when we talk about slavery, it's force.
Right.
So when we got here, we were forced to build this country
Right.
economically.
So that is a
So we have what it takes
absolutely.
economically to achieve whatever it is that whatever the desire that's in us.
Yeah.
We can achieve it. So this is why in achieving you have to have information. I don't think the slaves didn't have information.
Oh, they pass information.
They had information. They passed information. If you go back and look through your history, you'll see how big communities were built.
Yes.
Okay, and big businesses, millionaires were being made from people who came from slavery.
Right.
Okay, so what I'm saying now is because of COVID, it has not stopped us from moving forward and getting and moving and bringing Region 4 online. And going back to the advocacy part, this is where we lie. This is how we make the connections. This is how we provide more access of the tools and the resources because we are going out there and acquiring and disseminating. So basically, I've given you the whole understanding of our mission statement.
And I like it. I understand that. I'm good with that. So I mean, that's pretty awesome. So yeah. I'm excited that we you have opened up Region 4.
Yes.
Online and ready.
And there's some things coming.
And I know we still got some things.
Yeah, we got inauguration. We got a regional forum, an opportunity forum coming up, and then of course, all the things that we do it in each region. It's replicated. We do not come up with, let's do something this way, let's do something that way. No, it's consistent. Okay. And we know it works.
I like it.
And we got some new programs coming.
I know, isn't it? That's so really
cool. You'll hear about the new programs later.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about Region 4.
Yes.
So, so with that being said, I guess
I will be happy to introduce.
Go ahead.
The Region 4 Vice President. Of course, this is a member of the board, and it's an overseer, and it's to determine how things are going to be. Let's say the output. Okay. And the input of that particular region. We don't want to go into a region and it fails. Right. When I say fail, we don't do the things that we are here to do. So when we talked about this earlier one day, if anybody has the will, we got the power.
There you go.
And we want to keep it that way. We want to. So if you got will, we got power, and it brings it together. So we must work together in order to have that willpower that we need to move forward and for our businesses to grow and develop. So with that all said, I will be happy to introduce our new Vice President of Region 4, which is Mr. Steve Adams.
Woohoo, Mr. Steve Adams. All right, come on up, sir. So while we go ahead and make that transition, Region 4 actually has when we did the research, Jasper City actually has greater than 52% African American in that area. And so when we talk about the fact that Region 4 has opened up, and Jasper is one of those counties that are in there, that is one of the reasons why that region has been chosen to open up. So welcome, Mr. Steve Adams. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Tabitha. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
And we got some great and exciting news. So go ahead and introduce yourself and give a little bit of background about who you are for all of our listeners and the people who are watching.
Okay, I'm Steve Adams, and I'm the administrator of Jasper United LLC, and we're an insurance agency, brokers, and we have a full line of insurance products, auto, home, life, health, and we've been in business now for 20 years in the Jasper community. And I'm also the president of the Jasper Lake Sam Raven Area Chamber of Commerce, and we're really active in the community, and that's one of the things that one of the reasons that I was interested in helping with the Tri-County Chamber is because of our close community relationships.
Nice. I really like that. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know. See, I knew only a little bit about Jasper, but not enough because I'm not from Texas. So
Right.
there's so many different places in the state. So I'm like, okay, when everybody comes up with something new, I'm like, okay, what is that? So Region Four is online. Miss Leandra just told us. So can you tell everyone what counties are all included in under Region Four?
In Region Four, we have Jasper, which is the charter, and then there's Newton County and Hardin County are the three counties that Region Four consists of.
Hmm. That's pretty cool. So how long have you been in that area?
I was born and raised in Jasper, left briefly to go to
Really?
school, start a family. I've been back there since '96, 24 years now.
Oh, yeah.
Right, right.
Oh,
And being in a small town like that, you're going to sacrifice some things to be there. And one of those is normally income.
really?
The income and the rate of pay in an area like that is not the same as it is in a more city or urban area. And so that was one of the sacrifices that we had to make, but we wanted to raise our family there. And so we had to create our own opportunity.
So
So circle back to
come back to
this.
that. So you know what? That brings up a really good point because a lot of people actually go out and they start businesses, and everybody's like, "Well, why are you doing that specifically?" But a lot of it comes out of a need.
Right, out of necessity. A lot of people when they start out in business, it's because there's something missing or something lacking in that particular area,
Right.
and that's what it was. And Going back to the chamber, is that when you are trying to start a business in a rural area like that, a lot of times you don't have access to the information, you don't have access to resources, and those things hinder you. And we should have more businesses in those areas, but sometimes for people thinking about going out, these things seem a little bit impossible
Yeah.
to them, and they hold back. So we have a lot of talent that's in a small community like that, more so than you would think, because when you look around the area, like you noted, the population there is over 51% African American in our area.
Hmm.
But when you look at the business landscape, we barely register.
Really?
We
So it's that different between
Right,
other businesses and black-owned businesses in that area.
right. It does not reflect the 51% that we
Ooh.
make up.
Okay, so you got some work to do.
That's opportunity.
Yeah, you got some work to do.
That's opportunity.
So
We have work to do.
yeah, we do have work to do. We got to go out there and let people know that Tri County Regional Black Chamber is out there and willing to help them.
And that's what make the Tri County Chamber so attractive to us because they bring everything that we're lacking, all of the resources, all of the education, the advocacy, all of those things that we need in our community to help us step out and grow small businesses. They house all of that in one place.
Yes.
And now, with all of that, we can help get that information out there, encourage people to not just tell them they should go and do that, but we're going to say, come over here and join us, and we're going to show you how. We're going to tell
Right.
you to do it. We're going to call you out on it. You
Yeah.
can do it. You're doing all these things in your home already.
Right.
You're doing these things on the job.
Hmm.
When you go places, a lot of times we're the ones pushing buttons and making things happen behind the scene while they reap the rewards and benefits.
Yes. 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 Because I think that it's very common for a lot of people to believe that. I think we're all told go to school, go get a good job, and go to work, right? And so we are caught in
That's
that
that's
hamster
cycle. Yeah,
wheel,
right,
right?
right.
That hamster wheel just tells us that the only way for us to survive and the only way for us to be, credible is to go work for someone else.
So you're going to go get all that knowledge, all that debt, and you're going to go make someone else rich.
Correct.
You're going to be doing all the things that you can do for yourself.
Yes.
One of the things is when I speak to people about going to college and getting degrees or whatever, I don't talk against that. It's a good thing if you can do that, if that's your thing. That's not the only way to do it,
Hmm.
but if that's your thing, do it. But I also encourage them that if you're going to go there and you're going to get that degree, go ahead and take your couple extra classes in administration, business. So when you come out, your intent won't be to just go to work and take all that information and all that knowledge and put it to work for someone else. No, think about putting yourself in a position where you can do that for yourself. And
Right.
now that affects the unemployment rate and all that, because now we can turn around and hire the people that a lot of times qualified to do these other jobs, but were pushed aside because of a cousin-in-law or brother-in-law or whatever you want to call it, to where they're going to pick someone that they know first, someone from
Yeah.
their family, someone that's they're familiar with. I
Yeah.
mean, if it's their business and it's public, you can't knock that.
Yeah.
It may not be the best thing, but if that's what they choose to do, fine.
It may not be okay. So the thing about everybody chooses the business that resonates the most with them.
Right.
And so I think that the one thing that I always want to tell people is that, or I want to remind people, from my perspective, is that your goals are your goals, and your journey is your journey. Now you can always take a look at how other people have built it and how other people have gone about doing it, but I would not encourage or suggest you to use their entire blueprint
Right.
to walk your journey.
You still have to use your own,
Exactly.
your own. You got to follow the beat to your own drum. You have
Yeah.
to do what's best for you still, but at the same time, it's just if no one's ever mentioned to you or
Yes.
encouraged you that you can do your own thing, that you
Mhm.
can't step out on your own. If you've never heard that before, you're
Mhm.
likely not going to do it unless there's just something inside you pushing you to do that. So it's not telling people that you should go do this or you ought to do that. No, you're just putting it on their mind that, hey, don't just limit yourself to this. Do this extra and put yourself in position in case
Right.
this is an avenue. You would understand that there's other avenues for you than just going to work for one person and making them better, but you're limiting yourself. But when you do that, and you look at our community, the unemployment rate is always normally running twice as the average.
There.
No, this is across the country. I mean, but also there as well. But when you look at the numbers nationwide, our unemployment rate is always going to be a lot higher
Yes.
than the national average. But this is how you affect that. You can't always just depend on going somewhere and asking somebody to give you this, and this. Not saying that you don't deserve it, not that you're not qualified, but you're going out into a workforce that tends to um, underserve you.
Right.
And this is how you affect that by you creating your own businesses and starting other opportunities to where you can't hire people.
Right. And I'm glad you bring that up because as we're starting to build our businesses, don't create. So I would always want to encourage, how do we want to say this without being rude? But don't just create a job for yourself.
No.
Create a business that will be able to service and create jobs for other people.
Right.
Because so there are other communities that have been very successful in building a business, but they have their money, they bring in money regardless of whether or not they're working or not.
Right.
That is wealth.
Right.
Because wealth is
residual.
Yeah, so wealth is created when you do not have to you still get paid, you still get paid even after you stop working.
Right, right.
Because that's the whole entire point is that we have to get to the place where we just because we go to work and we come home, okay, that's the end of our pay. So when don't start a business, don't start a business and it's just your job. And so when you stop working or you're taken out of the business, then the business fails.
Right.
So we have to be careful about how to do that thing.
And one of the things, and it's interesting that you said that, one of the things about our structure, our business structure with Jasper United, we have 3 partners,
Okay.
myself and 2 others, and all of us partners has at least one of our children on our board.
Oh, nice.
Right. So they're not active members, they're not managing members, but they are on our board. They attend all of our meetings and all of our trainings. They're right there watching, mimicking everything that we do. So it's preparing them for even after we're gone from the business. We're already training them to be able to step in at a moment's notice, and so they kind of
That's nice.
go along with what you're saying.
Right, because you're going to create a legacy.
That's it.
You're creating a legacy, and then at the same time, you're teaching them how to run a business that's going to be successful. Because, like she said, Miss Leander said, we are very capable. We were capable back then, and they were capable back then. We are very capable now, and we can build, and we know we can build because every time we build something, what happens? Somebody always comes around a corner, they peek around a corner, and are like, yeah, no, we're not going to want you to continue that. And so they make it harder for you to continue, right? So I think it's great about the way you're creating that legacy, because I also would like to do that for my family as well, to be able to show them, because for me, my niece is watching me.
Right.
I found that very amusing. But my niece is watching me, and she's like, okay, when I get older, I want to have a business of my
Right.
own. I don't want to go and work for someone else and things like that. Because I try to help her to understand that small businesses is actually what keeps the United States moving. Period.
Right. And it's not that when you get older that this is what you're going to do. No, it's less. We're going to start now.
Now, right?
We're going to start teaching you necessary skills and mindset. That's the first thing that's important. The mindset of you belong here.
Right.
That you actually it it's not something that's given to you. It's not something that you have to beg for or look and think it's not achievable. No, you're. If we start with them at that age when they're young
Yeah.
and just letting them see what we do and you're not forcing them, putting too much information on them and saying this is what you have to do. But come on, come see what I do.
No, you
Come,
bring up a really good
come see what I do, and then it'll get in their spirit and they're learning without having to feel like they're being taught.
I know how, man, the wheels in my head just went off, and so they're just starting to spin. I know exactly what I need to do next. But that's a really good point, because it's important to start them early. We got to get away from that mindset or that conditioning that we do for our children that says you must go get a good job,
Right.
go get a good education, get a good job, and then work for the rest of your life for someone else. So I know that there's a lot of big businesses out there, and we appreciate their existence, but I think that there's more power in small businesses, because it helps to move the ship, to move the bow a little bit, because what happens is that innovation comes from the smaller
Right.
businesses, because they see how things can be done slightly different or a little bit different that will have a greater impact.
And the smaller businesses in your community, they have their finger on the heartbeat of their community.
Hmm.
They understand what their community needs and they know how to navigate it. And it's always what's best for the people of that community. When you think about big businesses, they're blind. They don't have life or any of them. They don't think about you on a personal level.
Right.
But when you think about a small business, especially in a small town like Jasper, um, being there 20 years, if you do anything that's not right, you'll be out of business in a year. Because it's not
Because
going
it's
to.
so okay. Oh,
It,
okay.
it's so small that if the word get out that you're not doing business the right way, you're not going to last. So it's you want to do business in the right way because it is the right thing to do. You want to be honest and reliable because it is the right way to do. But also in a small town, you have to be a little pay a little bit more attention to that because if you do mess up, it can cost you.
Right,
And
that's a really good point. Everyone's from different areas, but for your region, Jasper, Harding, and Newton,
we're
that
more rural.
yeah. So there's definitely, I like those towns, because I was thinking about, I was like, well, should I want to live? Those look so nice and quaint. Like you can walk down the street and everybody knows your name. But then at some point in time, I was like, I don't know if I want everybody to know my name. But
Right.
the businesses in the area, those are the shops that people would frequent often. So customer service is extremely
It
important,
is.
and I think that's also something that the chamber helps with some businesses to kind of help to understand their culture, their business culture, how they're choosing to move their business. Because some of the ones who have joined in that region were individuals.
Right.
And so that means that they have an idea, they just haven't figured out how to turn it into a business.
Right, that extra help that the chamber does provide, and also in a small business in a small town like that, and when you're doing business, it's good to go and build good relationships
This is true.
all across the community. Don't limit yourself to one demographic or one area of the community. Get involved with other organizations citywide, and that's going to open more doors to more opportunity. You don't want to limit yourself to doing business with one demographic or anything like that. You want to have relationships throughout the community. You want to join your local chambers.
Hmm.
We're not going to be the only one. There's others.
No, but we want you to join this one.
Yeah, we do want you to join this one. Definitely want you to
We
join.
want you to join this one. Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
Always.
Come on over.
But you have your Lone Star Youth Center. You have your Nehemiah Center. The the Carver Center. All of these organizations are part of our community, and you want to go out and build those relationships all throughout the community and to show that you can work well with others.
Right, that's true. The chamber actually has a lot of partnerships and relationships with a lot of people anyway. And
Right.
by being able to join the chamber and leaning on their relationships actually helps to change the kind of the trajectory or change your pathway, your journey when you're trying to build that. So with that being said, what type of programs do you would like to see in that area, or what type of businesses would you like to see in Region Four that would be helpful for the community and that the chamber could possibly help you to achieve?
Um, One of the biggest things for the to begin with that the chamber can help us with and already starting to help us with is things like financial literacy.
Nice.
That's a biggie because it seems basic, but a lot of us don't have good understanding of financial literacy. We don't know how to actually establish a business.
Hmm.
For us going out doing your DBAs and your LLCs and coming out of bringing yourself out of your house to establish a business. And it seems that this is basic, but for a lot of us, that's where we're at
Right.
in a small community like that. And that type of information with business structure and helping with formation, business formation, taxes, business taxes, that in itself is going to be a big start for helping the community. But one of the things that is big in our community that the chamber is going to help bring and give access to is the trucking industry.
Trucking.
Yes, trucking is huge in our East Texas area, and it's going to get bigger.
Okay.
Right, and those are things that will bring instant jobs because the demand for it is really high.
So are we talking about what is it, OTR, or are we just talking about local?
Um, Over the road is out there, but local there's going to be a lot.
Is there?
Yes, there's a lot of opportunity driving local, and there's even more so that should be coming our way, and we have to get in position for it and be ready. But that's one of the huge things. Information and technology.
IT, huh?
IT. That's huge, and those are that's one of the things that you can do with low overhead.
Yes,
And
this
we
is
don't,
true.
yeah, and we don't realize that, but it has low overhead, but it also puts you in position to hire people,
Nice.
and that's the key. You want to bring things in, but you want to bring things in like we talked about. That's going to create jobs and opportunity for others,
I think
and
that would be awesome. IT and trucking?
that's two of the big ones.
Wow, I would have never thought. So in a small town, but that they would it would be IT though. But I think it's good because I think that some of the smaller towns don't get as much activity like from technology, and then sometimes you don't think about that, huh?
And then the thing is with IT is IT. You can have IT support, and it can come from anywhere.
Correct.
Your business can be in New York,
Hmm.
but your support can be in East Texas, small
Right.
town. And there's a lot of talent in these areas, and people are starting to find out about that. The people are capable, but they're just not aware of those different opportunities. So now others are starting to come in and tap into that. And if you the that's another thing before when you want to relocate, the cost the overhead cost is not as expensive in a small town.
Hmm.
Your building rental and
Yes.
your taxes and that all that is taken into account when someone is looking a corporation is looking to relocate. And so if you can have that set up and you can show them how you can save impact their bottom line, save them
Right.
money,
Saving money.
you still have the same talent,
Hmm.
you're still getting the same quality of job or work done, but at a cheaper rate.
Right. So it
And,
doesn't have to go across the water or across the border.
right, or to your big cities.
Well, that's cool. That you bring up a good point. I think that's awesome. I have so many things going on in my head.
I see because you're lighting up.
I was like, oh my gosh. Well, what about? I think it's cool. The thing about small businesses is that I would always encourage people. I always try to encourage people to do the small businesses because the taxes by itself will help the community,
Right.
right? And so, if anyone is listening is thinking about starting a business and they are in Jasper, don't be shy. Make the phone call. We can call Steve or we can call the chamber, but you're going to call someone and ask some questions about it, and see what you need to do to kind of get started on that path, because you're talking about small town, small city, and what's happening is that we notice that our streets are not as clean or not as well upkept, and the lights and the things are going on. And when you bring in more small businesses, they create the taxes that actually help to upgrade or to keep maintenance to the roads and to the lighting and to the parks and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people may not know or understand that. So, and then you have representation, because we talked about the fact that when in Jasper City, there's 52% African Americans in that area. But when you look at the businesses, they are not represented that way.
Right.
So if they are minority, they should actually consider what problem do they need to solve in that area and start to bring that there, so that there's more representation. So when people like myself, who is not from here, would drive through there, we would be like, oh, well, this would be a cool place to be, because there is people who look like me here.
Right.
Versus, no, I'm not living here because there's too many of everybody else.
And like you say, when you bring in these small businesses, another thing that it's going to do, it's going to give us a sense of pride and a sense of belonging.
Right.
And that's going to help those streets get cleaner. That's going to help us become more active in our local government, because now you're lifting people up. When you lift people up, and now they start to feel empowered and included into the process. And now we can start to bring more people to the table. We can have more people running for elective office on every level, and that's going to make and it should be that our local government, our local businesses, is going to reflect us, the entire community, the way it should.
I like it. So what businesses would you like to see come to that area, other than trucking and IT? So are there businesses that would use a brick and mortar in that area that we would be able to have some type of representation that you would like to see there?
There's a long list of businesses that we would like to see, but at the same time, before we start to solicit and call for those businesses to come in, we want to do some in-house housekeeping type of work in our community, in our area, before we start to reach out to anything like that, because there's a lot of work to be done to get people in position. Because when we start looking outside for people to come in,
no, I'm not talking about outside. I'm talking about the people in. So anybody who's listening in those 3 counties, Jasper, Newton, and Hardin, what businesses should they be thinking about trying to create in their own space, so in their own backyard?
Oh, with the people that we already have
with
there,
the people you already have, because I'm not going to come there yet.
Right. One of the things is that's huge for our area is daycare.
Really?
That would be huge.
You need more childcare over there?
We need more childcare, and we need more childcare for our community from us. There's one that's in the chamber in Newton County.
Yes, I know. I've talked to her.
And we need her to expand to the Jasper and the Jasper County and the Hardin area as well, because we do need, and that's something that's not that huge, but it could, it's a need for it. There's a need, and there's more jobs that will be included in that.
I like the fact you said this.
Something that basic.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked the question.
It's the little bitty things.
And those are the ones we need to talk about, because there's a small cost to them, but you can get started small and then just continue to build on that. And if you're already in that area, then why not do that? If it's something you like and you want to be a child advocate, this is a really good way to kind of get that started. Right.
Another thing is for our area, and it seems like it's already overserved, but it doesn't include us. Food service, fast food, diners, restaurants. That would create more jobs for our area, and those are things that people are already doing in their homes.
Shut up! Oh my God!
They're already doing it in their homes. I mean, some of the best cooking that you can find, especially in that area or anywhere, you can look on Facebook, and all day, every day, people are posting meals, and I mean seafood pots and potatoes this huge. They're doing it, and they sell out turkey necks, pig feet.
Okay, I'm not gonna do that.
You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. But when they show on Facebook that they're gonna have this coming tomorrow, the next day, in 10 minutes, they're tapped out.
Are you serious?
They're already tapped out on pre-orders. So that's how well people are doing in their homes. So now we have to call them out, give them all the necessary tools, training, and resources. Hey, let's get you out there.
Oh my gosh. Now, this conversation has actually given me like three different ideas that we need to talk about because I would never have thought that that's how people were getting started in their businesses. I thought that that was pretty much like catering type of a thing.
Mhm.
I never thought about, okay, the restaurant starts at home and then just rolls out into the
Right.
into a building so that other people can come.
And that's what I mentioned earlier. We're doing the work.
You are.
We're doing the work, but now we just have to get you out.
Okay, so we just need to tell people tcbcc.org. You need to go look, join the chamber, or make a phone call to and ask questions. Sign up for something. Go do the new member orientation, which is going to be on Monday. So if you want to take a peek underneath the hood, then this is an opportunity for
Right.
you to do so. Now, any new members that come on board, they'll be able to go through all of the steps of the new member orientation. Or for those who are just coming to take a peek, this is an opportunity for you to see what the chamber has.
Right.
You guys have a ton of opportunity in that area.
Yeah. And what we have to work on doing is get that fear out because until now, there was no one to answer that call.
Right.
When they had the questions, they would call the local services, but you would not always get good, useful, helpful information that you need.
Right.
But now with the Tri-County, we're waiting. We're wanting to hear that call. We're ready to hear from you
Yeah.
because your success is our success.
How cool is that? I'm like excited about this one. This is good. I've never been to Jasper.
Really?
I
Well,
didn't even know it existed.
You should come. You should come.
Yeah, I'm gonna come
Yeah,
because we
just
got a lot of things going on over there anyway.
it really is. And in our area, we've been hit economically over the years. We've
Okay.
lost a lot of major industry.
Hmm.
We've lost over 4 or 5 major companies and corporations that cost us hundreds and hundreds of jobs over the last 20 years.
Okay.
But Jasper is still resilient. You know, we always bounce back.
Hmm.
We only go so low. And right now, we've been at the bottom of the cycle. So economically for our area is booming in a sense because we're on the swing back up. Jobs are coming back to certain sectors, but the thing and businesses are coming back. But we have to get on board.
Okay.
We have to get on board and position ourselves to be a part of that.
This is true. So we always learn from other people's experiences. So how were you able to go about being resilient and to change your mindset in a way where you're able to continue on your journey for entrepreneurship?
Well, it was instilled in me early on. My grandfather was the first black auto mechanic, service station in Jasper. And when you look back through my family history, there's business people throughout. Going back far as I know, my great grandfather on land, right out of slavery, and
Okay.
and owned a business and thrived. And it's just throughout my history of my family. And also, I had a grandmother that sat me down and talked to me and always encouraged me in what I could do. And it was always in my spirit. It was always in my blood. And tell you this real quick, when I was in the 4th grade or so, we had a neighborhood ballpark where we went with our moms and everyone played softball with the entire community. And while we were there, a lot of the people would take off and ride their bikes up to my uncle's snack shop
Hmm.
and buy snacks. But they would have to miss the game. They would have to go and come back. And so I started thinking, well, I could put some snacks right here in my mama's trunk. And so my daddy gave me $20.
Oh, nice.
I went and bought chips and drinks. That $20 was big, man. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, snack $20 worth of snacks. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think I had 30 installments to pay that back. But anyway, it started then. Started selling those snacks right there at the park and shortcutting that. And I did well because I sold, but I didn't do good business because once I saw that, hey, they're buying this soda at 25 cents and they're buying a lot of them, let me go ahead and charge 30.
And then
And by the time they come back, I'm charging 50.
you're supposed to wait to do the price increase.
Right. I was gouging.
Yeah, but it was good.
But I changed that.
Yeah, okay.
I have good business ethics now. I had to learn.
But it's a lesson all of us have to learn. It's not something that we're like, okay, well, we're gonna hit the mark on our first pricing option. we don't always learn the first time, but we learn when we make the mistake
Right.
or when we do something that somebody doesn't like, which is not necessarily a mistake. It's a learning process. And then when we get it, we're like, okay, we got it. Because the market will always tell you what they're willing to pay, and that's all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's how that works.
And the another thing that that helped me through is back in 2000, I come down with what's called considered a immune disease, and technically at this point, with a lot of jobs, I'm unhireable
Okay.
and medically disabled. And so instead of wanting to live on a disability check for the rest of my life, this is 20 years ago, young person, I didn't want to limit myself to that. So I had to go out and create opportunities.
Right.
And that was the motivation for that as well. In doing so, I wanted to find something that I consider recession proof. I wanted to be involved in something that there was going to be a need for, regardless of what the economy was. And so one of the things my wife at the time and I did was we started a daycare.
Oh, okay.
It did well. It did well for the years that we did it, and but later on was divorced, and the daycare went with it. But soon after that, after we started the daycare, this is where I started the income tax and books keeping service, and that's something that when the economy is bad, you're booming.
Oh yeah.
Because people want their money back faster.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the things that you want to look for. Things that are always going to be in demand, in which that brought us later to the insurance industry. All of these things are going to be needed regardless.
So you're serial. So you're a serial entrepreneur. This is not one time we went in and we tried to work it out and we stayed here. It was you've done so many other things.
Right. I'm not going to tell you about the things that worked.
But okay.
There's a laundry list of things that I tried. There's a laundry list of things that I tried, and one of them I tell you. I also went into trucking for a while back in 2009. But in doing so, I went against everything that I believed in for us doing business. And so when I say that, I'm saying this. I went into business in the trucking industry with my money, but depending on another person's knowledge of the industry.
Okay.
And you're never supposed to do that. If you're going to be involved in something, first of all, you study it for yourself and understand everything about it before you step out. And that was always my goal. I mean, that was always my motto, or whatever you want to call it. I always would study it before we did it. But in that case, I didn't. And when I got in there with this particular person, they didn't know the things that they
said they knew.
They said they knew.
Yes.
And so now when they went out and bought bad trucks, didn't know how to get contracts and things of that nature.
So I'm glad you said this because, like I said, we always learn from other people's experiences, right? And this is the one where I was told by a man I did not know, but I knew he was a businessman, and I had walked up to him at a Starbucks, and I said, "Hey, I just have a question for you." He's a black man. He looked very successful, so I just took him at face value.
Right.
And I said, what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur? So what would it be? And he says, the only thing that I will ever tell you that you should do is you should date anybody you want to do business with. And I was like, what kind of? And he said, no. He said, I lost $1 million off of not because I jumped too quickly into a relationship with someone, and it cost me a lot of money.
Right.
And it was over $1 million. And he said, and after that, it was a very painful lesson, but it was a lesson I needed to have.
Right.
So the only thing I ever really tell people is to make sure that the people that you are working with are people that have the same type of integrity as you first, and then that somebody that you can have like some type of longevity with, and that they're trustworthy. Because you'd be surprised how many people will do wrong, they clean up really well. Right. And they say all the right things. And then, but if you listen long enough, you actually find out they're not who they say they are. Right. And I'm glad you say that, because a lot of people only talk about all the successful parts of what they've done. They never talk about some of the lessons and how they got to where they are. Right. And those lessons actually help us. So for this area, for what you're saying for Jasper, the opportunity for the chamber to be there and to help assist people in learning from all of our collective experiences and being able to pour into them in a way for them to be uplifted, motivated, and encouraged to be able to play or get a seat at the table to do business.
Right.
Obligated.
I agree. And everyone with the chamber is members from your community
Yeah.
in other communities like yours, and they're just waiting to pour that into you because they're there with all that knowledge.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, if when it's coming to you, if you're not pouring that out, if you're not giving it back, it's driving you crazy to sit there and hold it.
Right.
So it's in our spirit, it's in the chamber spirit to give that.
Yes. I like it.
It's important for you to get what we have.
This is cool. So do you have people that you mentor, or you will be soon, even if you don't now?
Well, one thing that we do, and we've always did it since we've been in business, um, and even before, so we're always looking throughout the community. And if there's someone out there that's trying to do the right thing, trying to get started, and you see a need, if you see a lack in their process, we don't wait for them to come to us and ask for that particular help. If we see that we can help anyone in the community that's trying to do something positive, that's going to help improve our community, we're going to that person and we're saying, what can we do to help you? And if we all had that mindset, and it's going to grow,
Mhm.
we're bringing that spirit. And now we've been doing it all along, but now we have a team. We have that help.
See, that's what I say. That you have a definite backing. Now
Right,
it's-
right.
So now you got a tribe coming in to
So
say,
all-
okay, let's help.
All those things I want to give and never been able to give, now, hey, I got my team with me.
Isn't that, how cool was that?
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
I like
It's a
that.
great feeling to see all the other organizations that I've been a part of and seeing the things that are that should be available there, and they are available to some. But when we try to get them there, they seem to disappear,
Yeah.
or we seem to never qualify.
Right. Yes. That.
We seem to never qualify.
Yeah.
I've ex-
Always excluded on something that we don't even recognize that is part of the equation.
You didn't dot that T.
Yes. I'm like, what the heck is that about?
Dot a T.
Okay.
You didn't dot your T. But we're excluded for different things
Right.
and different reasons. But now we have someone to bring all of those things that are already there but not available to us. We're bringing all those tools.
So to that area, to Region 4. So congratulations on being the VP of Region 4, because I think that that's going to be a very integral part of how they're going to be able to grow. And now there's definite representation for them to strive to accomplish more in that area. And I think that's really great. So as we go ahead and wrap up, what is it that you would like to tell the people in Region 4 in order for them to, what do you want to tell the people in Region 4, as a VP of Tri-County Regional Black Chamber?
Well, one of the things is we need encouragement.
Okay.
And I know that we have people in their homes that are doing business and have ideas that they think they don't have the finance for, they don't have the information for, they don't know the licenses process, a lot of things that they're unfamiliar with, and they're a little hesitant about coming out and stepping out on that. And I just want to say, come out.
Come out.
And I know that's not enough words.
No, it is enough. It is very strong.
It's as simple as that. Come out. We understand what's happened before in other places that you've gone, looking for that help, looking for that opportunity, information, and we understand how that went.
Hmm.
I've gone through it.
See? And you came out on the other side, and you're better for it.
I'm better for it, but now come out because you're not going to have to go through the same things that we've had to go through to get established.
Yes, because some systems are in place now that you weren't able to have before.
So all I can say is come out.
Come out. Come on. So just remember that new member orientation is going to be for Monday at 11 a.m. Go ahead and register now on the website tcbcc.org. And then anyone who is not a member and would like to become a member, there's an opportunity for you to peek underneath the hood. For those members who are new, they need to go ahead and sign up and register for that new member orientation that will take place on Monday. I want you to go ahead and tell everybody how to find you.
Okay, you can reach me at Jasper United Insurance on 316 West Gibson in Jasper. Our number there is 409-384-2570.
Awesome. This is pretty cool. I'm glad you came to visit. Congratulations on your new position. And I'm excited. I will eventually drive through Jasper. Maybe not tomorrow though, but I will be there because I know there's a lot of great opportunities there, and I am so excited to meet some more of the people because I've spoken to a lot of people in that area, and they are all really nice.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Southern hospitality, that's what I would have been looking for. Unfortunately, sometimes you land other places though. But I'd like to thank everybody for listening to Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce Let's Talk Business podcast. And we're going to go ahead and thank our sponsors once again. Southwest Airlines is a proud air travel sponsor of Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd also like to thank Primacor Business Solutions. So everybody remember that we're here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. at gmtradio.com. And we look forward to hearing from you or seeing you again. Thank you and have a glorious week.